Hello, everybody. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday. Here we are again, the beginning of a new week. The same as the old week, and probably be the same as next week. September 14th. How's everybody doing today? We got a special guest with us today. And this one, you're going to probably want to take notes. So get your pens, pencils, pads of paper out. You're going to learn some stuff today. You're going to learn about glass. Maybe you go thrifting at Goodwill or Salvation Army. Or maybe you go to garage sales and there's all this glass and all these weird colors and stuff. And, you know, they're $1, 50 cents, and you don't know what they are. So you just pass them by. Then you come home and you do some searching, like, what could that possibly have been? All those colors in that glass, and you find out what they're going for and what it was. So Nana Tink is with us today, and she's going to go over some glass and what to look for, and what's the difference between real carnival glass and fake carnival glass that we just discovered a little while ago. So I hope you enjoy it. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Shout it out if you know anybody that is into glass or wants to get into glass. Maybe he's been collecting it and doesn't really know what they have. This is the show for them. So without further ado, Nana,
hey.
How are you, Nana?
Hello, everybody.
How's it going?
Good.
So
I'm glad you made me smaller and not to keep so big.
You like it better that way?
This way, yes.
Okay. Well, the picture's, wider, so we get to see more. So I guess the first question would have to be on my mind anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Where did the name Nana Tink Treasures, how did that come to be?
Well, first of all, I've always liked Tinkerbell. I relate to Peter Pan because I don't ever want to grow up. But I do like Tinkerbell. I love Tinkerbell, always have. And of course, I'm a Nana. 6 grandkids, and they all Yeah, they all call me Nana. So Nana Tink Treasures, because I love treasures.
Very cool. So, and how long have you been reselling? How long have you been doing this? And do you just do eBay, or do you do other platforms?
Well, actually, I started eBay like when eBay started. That's when I very first started selling on eBay, and I did that for a few years. That was back when, you had to send in a check or cash,
Yep, you got the
before
checks
all
in the
that.
mail. What people used to tape the pennies and nickels and quarters
Yes,
to a
and
piece of
dimes,
paper.
but yeah.
Yep.
So way back then, and I did that for a few years, and then kind of life set in and full-time job and all that. And eBay was a lot different then, of course, and it was, I thought, a lot more expensive. I was not making any kind of money. It seemed like everything I would sell, they would take fees. So between that and life, I quit. I didn't do eBay for a long, 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 long time, many years. And
Okay.
then I want to say maybe about 5 years ago, I started watching YouTube, and I came across YouTube resellers. Um, I had no idea that there were resellers on YouTube. No idea. So the more I watched for probably about a year, easy, and then I thought, you know what, I got to start getting back into selling again. This is awesome. I love it. Then I learned there was other platforms, which I had no idea,
Right.
and checked out Macari. I did check out Poshmark. And so once I started doing that, I started reselling again, and I got into eBay. And then about a year into selling again, I thought, which I don't know if it's true or not, but I was thinking at the time, if I don't get a YouTube channel, I'm not going to sell. I think you could sell more if you do both. So
Yeah.
that's when I started a YouTube channel. But as far as then trying other platforms, because it was new to me, I did try Macari, which I do have a few things on Macari, and I do like Macari. I thought of Poshmark until this is how lame I am. When I first was reading about you got to share your closet, I'm like, I don't want people seeing my closet. No.
Yeah, I don't
I
get that whole sharing and the parties and stuff like that.
But now I realize that's really not what it is. Regardless, I do not want to do it because it's way too much work. I don't want to
Right.
spend time,
Let me go.
so
Let me go back a step. When you started watching YouTube, so this must have been recently, within the last few years,
within the last year.
within the last year. Were you
Just yeah.
watching YouTube videos on what I sold on eBay, or I'm going to a garage sale to get things to sell on eBay?
All of that, because number one,
Okay.
the first people I actually watched was Raleigh Roots.
Okay. Yep.
And they do it all, and they are big. And I was just like, oh my goodness, wow, yeah, all of that. And I wasn't really trying to learn how to source because, well, that I was raised with it in my blood. My dad had his own antique shop.
Oh wow.
My dad had his own auction building. He was an auctioneer himself. I was a runner since I could run at the auction. People would buy something, I would go grab it and run it to whoever bought it.
Right.
And summers, I would spend time at his antique shop. So it's in my blood. Selling has always been there. Over 20 years, I worked at our local newspaper in sales. So
Nice.
I love to sell.
And where are you located?
Johnstown, Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. There's a lot of
Pennsylvania.
resellers in Pennsylvania.
And on the East Coast, there's a whole bunch of us. Yeah. I'm
Wow.
about an hour outside Pittsburgh going east.
Now,
So,
Pittsburgh's the west side of Pennsylvania, right?
yes, it is. Yeah.
Near Hershey?
Yeah. Hershey's, yeah, probably about a 3-hour drive from me, I would say.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Wow. So you got back into eBay, and when you were first doing it way back in the heyday, because that's when I started. I started when it was, you probably did too, when it was Auction Watch.
Yes. Oh,
Before it
that was
became,
only auctions. Yes.
before it became eBay.
Yes.
What were you selling then? What kind of stuff were you selling then?
Basically just stuff around the house that I didn't use anymore. It was a way that I was just trying to make extra money. I was always trying to make extra money. We never really had a whole lot of money. And this was even before I started working outside the home, because I did not do that till my youngest was like in first grade.
Mm-hmm.
So just extra money, Christmas money, whatever. So whatever they grew out of, whatever they didn't play with, whatever I didn't want anymore, whatever I would get as a gift and didn't like, I would try and resell it. Then I would start going to Goodwill stores. Back then, even Goodwill was not too bad of a place to source from and get some items, and I would do that too.
Wow. And then you got back into it a year ago.
Back
And
into selling probably about longer than probably about 3 years ago. I would say I went back into selling. I've only been on YouTube for about not even a year yet.
and now you sell everything, or primarily glass, or
No, I sell anything and everything. I don't care what it is.
as long, like a lot of us say, as long as I can make a buck on it, I'll sell it.
Exactly. That's right. I will sell anything, but I do love glass. I love glassware. I guess because I was around it a lot in the antique shop that my dad had, and that seems to be a place I always like. Whenever I'd go into shopping, I would levitate towards glassware.
Really?
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like some people walk into Goodwill, they automatically say, "Go right to the shoes," or
Yes, they
right
go
to
to what?
clothes. Yeah.
Yeah, they go to their comfort zone, basically.
And that's it, comfort zone. And I just always levitated towards the glass aisle. And
Wow, that's nice. I mean,
yeah.
I typically, when I don't go into a Goodwill a lot. I don't go into Salvation a lot, especially now since the pandemic. I'm too nervous. But
Right.
I stay away from the glass and stuff. For a while, I was doing mugs, coffee mugs, and then they stopped selling as much as they were. And then I started wondering and having a fear of shipping glass items. And I mean, I still look at, and I have no clue what they are. Insulators.
Oh, yeah.
I know those are thick enough that you shouldn't have a problem shipping. But can you explain insulators and why they're so collectible?
Well, because one is they're not used. Well, I shouldn't say they're not used anymore because actually some of them places still could use them. But I don't know why a lot of people collect them. It could be because of the novelty that this was what they began with and they aren't as popular as what they were, but they're so popular. And I know Harry, he collects them and he gets some color ones, which I didn't even know the different color variety that they came in. So that could be part of why they're collectible too. I know the green color, the clear, those are pretty popular. They're not, you can get them pretty, actually I have one, but he has some different colors and I really don't know why just those are collectors.
Okay.
Like I said, I just think it's something that it's like, why does somebody collect railroad spikes?
Yeah.
Old, it's
I
just
don't get
what,
that. So
yeah, I mean,
I guess
everybody's
everybody
different.
collects something.
Mm-hmm.
So your fascination with glass.
It's pretty.
It is. It is. But now, have you ever been to the Murano factory in Italy, in Venice?
No, but I wish I could go. No.
We went, and it was extraordinary to watch them make, a
Blown
sculpture
that
or
glass.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very expensive, though. Very, very
Oh,
expensive.
yeah. And I think Murano glass, if I'm not mistaken, every piece is actually signed, right? By their maker.
Well, there's many that they'll do mass production of, and they just put a sticker on it. But there are a lot that, they either come with, like I have a few pieces that have a separate base that have the Murano name on it and everything.
Yeah, that's what I thought, that they are one of the companies that are more common known to actually still are from the beginning put their signature on. We're back in the early days of blown glass and the different companies, they never would put their signature right in the glass itself. They just, like you said, they would use stickers.
Right. So what kind of glass, like, so we're going to go on a simple trip to Goodwill to go do some sourcing. And I'm one of those sneaker guys or shirt guys, and I want to go leave my comfort zone and see if I could get something else I can make a buck on. What am I looking for?
Well, we'll go right into what we just talked about is uranium glass. Because right now, for some reason, uranium glass is really becoming, people just are starting to go crazy on it again. So whenever you go to Goodwill or shopping, you want to get a little UV flashlight. That's what I have. This is just a little tiny, like a UV flashlight, not a regular flashlight. It's like a black light flashlight.
Yep.
That's the difference. And when you have that, when you're going down the aisle, just shine it. And I have a piece of uranium glass, and if you just saw this sitting on a shelf, you really wouldn't know anything about it. It's just a piece of green glass, right?
Yep. Yep.
If you take this and you're shining, look at that.
Oh, wow.
And it's kind of hard because, of course, I have light, which this is kind of what it would be like in the store. But you can see that kind of glows.
Right.
So if you see something that kind of glows, you know that's uranium glass.
Wow.
And my ring light is on, so but that's what it would kind of be like if you were shopping. But you can kind of see the color and the glow.
So it doesn't glow in the dark.
No, you have to have the light on it for it to glow in the dark at all, or to glow at all. Right? No, you can't do this and turn the lights off and it stays glowing. No.
So that's a solid piece of glass. That's not hollow, though.
Oh no, this is solid. Yeah, this is feels like a paperweight.
Right.
It has to be, because when they make the uranium, I mean, there's actually uranium in this glass, and some of the glass will shine more than others because it depends how much uranium is in it, and that's the difference too between the uranium. They got making it cheaper, and they stopped putting as much uranium in it. So this is a good piece though, because it shines pretty good, and there's some bubbles in it too, so I know it's old.
So Melanie has a question.
Sure.
When you say glow, is it a different color, or simply that it can be seen through the glass if the light is coming from the inside?
No, it actually is a glow. It actually will have the green glow. You really don't see the light. That's hard to see.
So it's kind of just makes the glass come to life, basically.
Yeah, like it actually glows green. Yeah. And there's other colors too, which can be confusing. But that's one way. If you have this, you need your light. And if you just go through, and even at the Goodwill, you might pick it up for $2, $3, $4, and you take it home and you see, oh, it's not really glowing like that, then you're not really out of a lot of money. But if it does, then now you've got a good piece.
Now, so where would a uranium glass, now that's a sculpture.
Yes.
Where would something like that have been sold?
You mean sold like in market? Like where would
original? No, when it originally,
like say from the company Fenton or something, they would have made that and sold it in the stores. Yeah.
Okay. And
so the piece will glow. Well, it's not actually the piece that glows unless you put the light on it. That's the only way it'll glow. That's kind of confusing, I guess, because it's hard to explain it.
I think what it is it makes the piece pop.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's absorbing the light and it's making the piece pop.
Yeah.
Do you know?
And I can tell you right now, because it's so many people have realized that it's out there and it's being sought after, so common right now, you're probably not going to find any.
Wow.
And I think it's because of YouTube, and so much of it has been on YouTube about it. Everybody's trying to find it.
It's like baseball cards now. Everybody's talking
that too. Yeah, good luck trying to find a baseball card at Walmart now. Yeah,
what years do you think those would have been made?
Probably in the 50s.
Okay. You mean that the light causes a glow effect that doesn't occur? Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Exactly, Maggie Doodle. There you go. Yes.
It looks like that. You put it up to that statue, it looks like the statue is just grabbing the light.
Right. That's a very good point. Yeah.
So it's not, I mean, I've heard other people say it's not radioactive because it's got uranium particles or whatever, right?
It actually is. Yeah. And
really?
Oh, yeah. but it's not going to hurt you. There's nowhere near enough in there of what's in here. It would have to be 1,000 times more than what's in here for it. It can't hurt you. But I guess there's a lot of people that might believe otherwise. So, but
wow.
Yeah.
Hello, Victoria.
Hi, Victoria.
Wow.
Hey.
So then is that the only uranium glass? Is that the only glass that the UV light helps you to discover?
Vaseline glass will be doing the same. And that's a difference. A lot of people get confused. What is Vaseline glass and what is uranium glass? And I'm going to say this. Vaseline glass can be uranium glass, but uranium glass can never be Vaseline glass. And Vaseline glass came out, and it can also be, put the light up to it and it will glow. And Vaseline glass came about clear back when, at that time, the color of it was like Vaseline, like a yellow, creamy color. And
okay.
That's why it's called Vaseline glass. When it became out, that's people back then, it was popular. Vaseline was popular at that time. And so that's what they named it, was Vaseline glass. And I look at Vaseline glass and I think of a lot of the Vaseline of that color, like a yellow, you know what I mean? Like a,
yep.
So that can be uranium glass also, because it will glow. It just depends if there's uranium in it or not. So there actually is uranium in the glass, and it's put in when it's molded, when it's hot. They added the chemicals.
So once again, that's also like 50s era?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Made?
Yeah. Well, right. Now I forget what year exactly. I did know. But yeah, right when the Vaseline was popular, that same time. About 50s, early 50s.
So would these be the same thing? Would these just be sold in an upscale store that you would have gone into?
Yes, and I would think that's when the Vaseline became popular, because it became as pretty and wanted something to decorate the home with, but it was cheaper than the actual uranium glass. Kind of like we talk about carnival glass.
Yep.
The carnival glass, of course, that was Tiffany. Everybody knows Tiffany, and Fenton. I love Fenton Company, and they did the carnival glass back then, and it became expensive. It was for the, people that had money.
Right.
Well, the people that didn't have the money so much wanted it as well. So what different companies started doing was making what looked like carnival glass, and it really wasn't carnival glass. So that's where, if you ever heard of Goofus glass.
No, never heard of that one.
Oh, well, a lot of people have heard of Goofus glass, and it's similar to carnival, but it's not carnival. And the reason why it's called that is because back in the day when they first started producing the cheaper kind, a lot of the people, they would call it, they're just trying to goof us. But they're not goofing us. We know that's not carnival glass. So then that term became Goofus glass. Okay. And the pieces of carnival at the time, because of all that happened, what a lot of companies did is they would give pieces away for free. If you would buy, say, laundry detergent or something, you'd get a piece of carnival glass. And the company would then have hopes that if you got that certain piece, what the woman of the house would want is a collection of that. Then she would go out and then buy with other pieces that would match it and have like a complete set of something, like, a set of dinnerware or a set of cups or whatever.
So would that Goofus glass be worth more money because it was a knockoff per se and not mass produced?
I would say no, not worth any more money.
Okay.
And there again, it depends on the individual. It really does, of what they want. And that's what they say. Well, how much is that piece of glass worth? It just depends on the buyer, because when you're a collector of glass, you're collecting either a certain pattern, a certain color, a certain maker who makes it, a certain style. So if you have a collection of 6 and you want to finish that collection, you need 2 more pieces, you're going to pay hundreds of dollars just to get those 2 pieces. Right. Where if somebody just looks up and they'd say, I wouldn't give you $20 for that. So glassware's finicky. I mean, it just depends. You got to have the right buyer at the right time. And there's so much to learn and know.
The piece that you have, the statuette,
Yes.
there's no maker mark on the bottom of that, is there?
No, no.
But now, when you say about Fenton, I have heard Fenton before,
Uh-huh.
and Vaseline glass.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, those will have a maker on the bottom.
No.
Oh, Fenton
Typically, um,
won't?
Fenton Company never did a mark until I want to say 72, early 70s, 71 maybe. That's when Fenton actually started putting their mark in the mold, when they molded a piece, because before then they did the same thing, the stickers, not foil stickers, but regular stickers, and they would come off. So if you find a piece of Fenton, you'll see underneath the name, and it'll have like a 7. And that means that was in the 70s, because they did that through the 70s. And then through the 80s, they did an 8.
Okay.
And through the 90s, they did a 9. That's Fenton. But before the 70s, that's what they did, which, as most glass companies, makers did. They didn't do anything but stickers.
Oh, wow.
Now I have a piece of, this is, I want to show you this glass. This is Viking. And I got this for $1 at a garage sale. And I was lucky because I don't know if you can see that sticker is actually on there.
Yep.
That's the original foil Viking, and it says hand blown.
Oh, wow.
Which is pretty rare. Now this is probably from 1951. That's, I think, Viking glass started doing different colors. Before that was just clear colors, and then colors after the decade of the World War II, after decades of war, a lot of companies started doing colors. Before that, it was a lot of clear. You can kind of see bubbles in this too, but this is one of the colors, this amber color. That's one of the ones they started doing in 51. They did like rose, they did dark blue, light blue, sky blue, like a blue, evergreen, and amber.
But there's no maker's mark on the bottom of the piece.
And it's rare to ever find anything on the bottom.
So if it wasn't for that sticker, you being a professional on glass, experienced person on glass, if it wasn't for that sticker, would you know that was a Viking piece?
I would probably, and I'll tell you why, because look at the shape.
Yep.
See this? This is rare. This Viking is pretty common, although Fenton is there again too. This shape, this is called, there's two different way of saying this. This is stretch glass vase, stretch. It's not really stretched, because if it was stretched, it would be more like, you know, those pieces you showed me, it would have more like of a sheen on it instead of glass. So that I know it's not stretched. This is actually called swung, S-W-U-N-G, swung. And where when they were blowing it, they would grab it, and there's a special tool they use in the bottom. It's called a ponytail. Yep. That's really kind of smooth, and that's from the tool that they use when they did this. You can kind of see that.
Yep.
So that's how I would know it by this shape. And there again, that's the thing with glass. There's so many different makers, and every maker has hundreds of patterns, hundreds of colors. So it's really hard to tell. And I'm not an expert by any means, and I don't know everything by any means. I just know a little bit about a lot of different things. And that's just because of my age and going through and you know, being around some stuff. But the only way you really can know anything, like you said, if this didn't have a sticker on it, if you didn't know this, all you can do is go online research. But the best thing is books. I have books, and I like to go through my books, and the books will have pictures and explain. And it's a lot to look. And that's how you do is research.
Now, do you yourself have a collection of glass?
Me, myself?
Yep.
No.
You don't?
Nope.
That's unusual.
I don't. I mean, what am I going to do with that? I used to have carnival glass. I used to have all kinds, but no, I don't.
People asking me, do you collect action figures? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one day you grow up and.
Oh, gee, thanks. There you go. The first insult of the show, ladies and gentlemen. no, it's
Well,
all right.
here's the thing. You know what? If I would keep and have still everything that I've had, what are my kids going to do with it? You know, what can you do with it? You can only have so much, and I got enough. So,
Okay.
and
All
you
right.
know what? That's just like this. I just bought this year.
Yep.
Beginning of summer at a garage sale. I'm like, oh, only because I really like it, and I'm gonna sell it. I'm not gonna keep it. The only thing that I'm gonna keep is what I just got, this piece of carnival glass, because my mom and dad had one. So
That's nice.
it's just a memory. That's why I don't know, I'll probably give it to my kids.
And is that a bank?
What's that?
Is that a bank?
Oh yeah, it's a bank. It's a penny bank. Yeah.
And the only way to get the money out is you got to break it.
Yep.
I remember that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh yeah. My parents had one. So
Yeah,
I saw that.
I remember when I was a kid, it's like, why would you make a bank out of glass? We can't reuse it. To get the money out, I got to break it.
I know. That's why my parents probably had it. So we couldn't get the money, but I just bought it.
Ask the Viking piece you bought at a yard sale for $1.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to list that at?
Probably 25 to 30, maybe 35. I'll start at. It's only worth about 35.
Nice return though. Nice return on
for $1. I mean, what the heck?
Wow.
But I like Fenton. I know about Fenton. I've always liked Fenton because I like hobnail. Did you ever hear of hobnail glass?
Nope.
Fenton is pretty popular. This is hobnail. You see these little bumps?
Yes.
Those are called hobnail. And Fenton's one of the main companies that make hobnail glass. There are others. Westmoreland makes it, I know. But I like Fenton. And there again, it's the pattern. If you have to see this starburst pattern here, that's known as...
just for decoration, though. It doesn't serve any purpose.
No, this is just... And then this is... Yeah.
Wow.
But I really like the hobnail. This is another piece that I have. This reminds me of Oriano. I like Oriano stuff, but that's also hobnail.
Oh, wow.
Kind of rigidity bumps. So this piece I've had a long time. So I keep a few pieces, but like I keep this on my dresser with candles on it. So
does Carnival Glass all have that iridescent rainbow color?
Yes.
Excuse me.
Yes, it does.
If I missed anybody's question, I'm sorry. Just put it back in the chat. Put a couple of question marks before. But I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say the carnival glass, that's how you know. And like I was saying before, if you have a piece of carnival glass, I don't know if you'll be able to tell on camera, but what I was saying to Paul is you can tell if it's carnival because if you look at it one way, you can kind of see.
Well, right where when you hold it, I can see purple, red, blue, and green.
And then when you turn it a different way, usually upside down, you see how it changes color. And that's a good way of showing carnival glass.
Wow.
So yeah, you can kind of see the purples, the green. My favorite color, which I don't have a piece, is the purple, the amber, that purples, the reds, and the dark color. Yeah, I like that color. That's really pretty carnival glass.
Wow. So what about, I hear a lot about milk glass.
Yes, milk glass, which I have a piece. I just got this at the house clean out I did.
And that's another thing. You do house clean out.
Yeah, I've done 2 house clean outs this past year, I want to say. Mm-hmm.
Which means when an estate sale's all over, you go in, make them an offer on everything that's left, and you haul it out?
Well, in the situation that I did, the first one I did was like that. The person had passed away, and the family needed to sell the house, and they didn't want the stuff that was in the house, so they did have an estate auction. I went to the auction, and I actually purchased a lot of stuff at the auction. I've spent like $100 at the auction. And when the auction ended, my girlfriend, she actually was a not a caregiver, but she would go over and clean the house for them. So the son knew my girlfriend, and when it was over, we were just standing around talking, and he mentioned to her, because obviously everything didn't sell at the auction.
Right.
So he did mention to her, now he's got to find somebody that will come out and just get rid of everything and throw it in the dumpster of what was left before he could put it up for sale. Well, that's at the time was something that my grandson and his buddy did, and he had done many clean outs like that.
Oh, wow.
So I mentioned to him, I said, well, my grandson and his buddy does it. And he goes, really? I said, yeah. He said, okay. So I talked to my grandson. Well, it just so happened that his buddy couldn't do it. So I said to my grandson, I will help you, because I seen what was left in that house. I said, I will help you. So him and I went, and then when you think, oh, that's only going to be a couple carloads.
Yeah.
Each of us probably did 6 carloads of stuff.
Ooh. But the way you do it is you go to the auctioneer or the owner or the estate sale company and say, listen, I'll give you a certain amount of money for whatever's left at the last day, and I'll clean it up for you.
No, we didn't give them any money for what was left. It was all whatever it was left was ours to take.
Oh, okay. You just
you don't have to pay, because he was just grateful that we were cleaning it out.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because otherwise, if we would have done it, he would have had to hire a company come in and do it and pay somebody, maybe a couple $100 just to clean out that everything left. But because we offered to do it and we said we would do it for free, he was like, yeah, because if we could keep whatever we wanted. And that house is where I got all the ephemera that I have.
Yeah.
And I want to tell you that I have the ephemera. While I gave most of it all away, now I'm done giving it away. I have probably given away thousands of pieces.
Wow.
But that house, I mean, there was a lot of good stuff in that house, a lot of good gems, I want to say.
Today?
What's that?
You'll still do this today, this clean out stuff?
I don't know if I will again. I'm old. I'm overweight. It was very hard, this last one I did with my girlfriend, which was just about 3 weeks ago. And I didn't think about it. I was so excited to do it because if you watch my first video, when we just did a walkthrough, we hadn't started to clean out yet. I was just there to look at the stuff. Oh my I got some comments on my video. They were saying that my reactions was funnier than actually looking, because it was amazing. This woman, God love her. And there again, it was my girlfriend. She took care of her, but she had passed away and the family just don't want to deal with everything. But she was a hoarder and she loved to buy online and loved to buy stuff, and has for the past, I want to say 30 years easy.
Ooh, wow.
So a lot of the stuff I got was still brand new in packages that are, from the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. And I was just like, oh my goodness. And so because we went and cleaned it out there again, we didn't pay her to do it. The people just are glad to get rid of it. And I was so excited about everything being so wonderful. I wasn't thinking, and I'm very allergic to dust and molds.
Yeah.
Well, obviously this house, there was a lot of mold and dirt and dust that hadn't really been taken care of in a long time. So I got pretty sick. I really was having headaches and ended up having to get on. Anyways, it wasn't a good thing. So without thinking, I should have wore a mask. I should have had gloves, but I wasn't thinking. And so that was kind of rough. I'm not sure I would do another house clean out. I say that, but then if I go look at one and if
the opportunity arises, right?
Because this house, I want to tell you, just for an example, up in their attic was this box, and it had advertising of old soap on it, Octagon soap. That box is and I know you don't go by what's listed on eBay, but there's one that's not in good a shape as this one right now for $130.
Wow.
There are sold ones that average probably about $60 to $70. So that's just one thing.
Wow.
So going back to what you said, milk glass, this is a piece that I found from that house clean out.
Oh,
this is milk glass. It's very old, and that's what I know. It's old just because it came from that house. Everything in that house, most of the stuff is dated, so I do know the age, but I haven't looked this up. I don't know it off the top of my head. There's no way I can. Anybody tells you they know every pattern, every color, every maker, they're lying. There's just no way you cannot know it all. You have to look it up. Another good thing I should say is I was on WorthPoint. I don't know it. People out there ever heard of the website WorthPoint? I did the free version a couple of times. You do pay for it to get more detail, but that gives you a lot of information on glass.
Okay.
So this is milk glass. I know it's milk glass. White, creamy, good looking. It's not a real heavy piece. I don't know the pattern. I don't know the maker. There actually is a mark, and I was trying to read it on a pedal, which I'm surprised that if it is a mark. I don't know. It could be just, I don't know if you'll be able to see. No, I don't think you can. You find it. It's on this pedal right there.
No.
You can kind of see right there.
Yep.
I don't know if that's because I would be surprised if there's a maker's mark on this. They're, like I said, they never really did that back then. So if it is a mark, then I'm going to guess it's probably Japan. And that means this would be made in Japan. That would be the right air of probably when she would have got this. So if it says anything, it would say Japan. That's my guess. I don't even know what this is.
Yeah, I was wondering it because it reminds me of the bottom of a planter or something.
That's exactly what I was going to say. That's what I thought too, to catch water. That's what I'm thinking. There was a piece, a planter on it. And in my video, I show this and I show the planter too. And that planter's milk glass also, but you could tell it's a whiter color than this. It's a different pattern than this. Although it fit here, it obviously did not go together.
Okay.
Bought, you know what I mean? Made together or bought. But yeah, this is milk glass, creamy. And you can see these a dime a dozen in the vases in the thrift stores.
Yes.
A lot of the vases, yeah. I always say I wouldn't touch them. Some people buy them. I know Kat, the nurse flipper, bought them, and she did very well selling, I guess, a bundle of them, I'm thinking.
Yep. The last auction, the last local auction I went to, actually just last week, they had a lot of pieces of milk glass.
And there again, some of it is really good, and I don't know because it's going to depend on who is looking for what piece and what pattern. Because
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. I was just going to say, again, a lot of people go by what pattern or piece they want to complete their collection.
All right. We talked about, I want to get back to the word you've been saying a few times now, pattern, but we talked about uranium glass, Vaseline glass, carnival glass, and now milk glass. Mm-hmm. Are any of these still produced today?
Yes.
They are.
All are. They all are, and a lot of them are fakes, so it's hard to tell the real from fakes too.
So is it something you can go into? Well, I don't know what stores are left. There's a couple of Macy's around. Would something like that be found in a Macy's, or you're never going to find that in a Walmart or a Target?
Right. Probably higher end, like you're saying, like a Macy's.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. And now
patterns. Yeah.
I've seen a ton of videos, and Bearded Picker is one, and I pick on him because he's going to be with us tomorrow on the show.
Okay.
He keeps, when he goes to garage sales, estate sales, he says, oh, I got to see if she needs this one, or I got to see if she needs this pattern. I don't know if it's this pattern. Pyrex.
Pyrex.
I love Pyrex. I've seen a lot of videos of people searching for Pyrex.
And that's another thing that's becoming very popular again. And I think, again, because of videos that are being put out there and the new generation coming up, and maybe they're getting an eye for it now. But yeah, Pyrex is now becoming highly sought after again, where for, I would say 10 years ago, it was not at all. It didn't matter one bit. Yeah. I love Pyrex too.
Really?
I have a lot of pieces of Pyrex. I have original Pyrex. Yeah. My husband's mother and, different sets, but, yeah, I don't know why it's becoming, I guess just because of the videos and it's being talked about a lot.
It must be easier to research Pyrex patterns than it is to research Vaseline glass or...
I would say it absolutely is, yes.
They must
Yeah.
have changed the patterns. What do you think? Once a year, the New Year's pattern come out, or was it a
You,
seasonal thing? Because I don't know. I mean,
you
I've
mean
had
you
the
mean
different.
the Pyrex patterns? You mean how did they come out with their series? Their series, no, they were like a stretch of years, not actually just 1 year or every 6 months or something. There would be like a stretch of years for one type of pattern and then another type. But even with Pyrex patterns, there's probably 100 different patterns.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
And then people just look for the lids because they break the lids, or they need
If
a
it had a lid
replacement.
or that piece, or they want to complete a set or something. Because a lot of people like the sets of the bowls or a complete set of like the pattern. I know that there's, just for an example, there's one set of that was made, and I'm trying to think if that was in the 60s, I want to say, a Pyrex. And it was a pattern, and they had the three colors, the main colors of the red and the blue and the green, and they did make yellow. You could purchase the set in the store, but you could only purchase the three. The yellow was never included. They sold the yellow one separately.
Oh
So
wow!
people, if they have the three, they're trying to find that yellow bowl to match their set. Is
Wow!
there?
Is there an item or type of glass that no matter what you see in the thrift store, garage sale, somewhere, you have to pick it up, or a piece you could recommend a must have to resale? So if you go to a garage sale or a Goodwill or a Salvos or something, is there a piece that you say, oh, no matter what, this is only a $2, whatever, I can make double, triple my money?
Well, you could almost double, triple your money on any of it because
Really?
there, yeah, well, like I said, there again, it's finding the right buyer. And there's no way to tell if you walk into a thrift store and you see, I don't know, you see a piece of glassware and you're looking at it and you're thinking, is it valuable or not? It's so hard to say because who's going to want to buy it? I mean,
Right.
it it it's a crapshoot. But I would say right now, look for the uranium glass. If you find uranium glass, I would buy that immediately because it's right now it's big. And your Pyrex, old Pyrex pieces and Pyrex. I don't know why it's going crazy now, but it is. Any Pyrex you find, some pieces are a lot more valuable than other pieces. Um, the stranger patterns probably, like there's ones that are the dots, the stripes, but pretty much any Pyrex I would pick up. Hobnail, I love hobnails. There again, see, I love hobnail. Not everybody does, but I would buy hobnail over some other pieces because that's what I like. So that's what I'm saying. It's hard to say to go to any particular piece or anything. You really can't because it depends on what somebody was looking for.
Right. So hobnail, that's still made today also?
Yes. Yes.
So
Although the Fenton company, I mean, they stopped producing, and that's like Viking company. Viking quit back what in like 1980, early 1980s. But there's other companies now that will reproduce this exact same piece just like this. So it's really hard to tell what's
wow.
fake and what's not until you really study it and learn, and having markings on it really helps.
Yes. Yep.
You know, one thing I could tell you that you probably never want to look for when you go in a thrift store and you see row after row after row of clear glass, you see a lot of clear glass,
Yep.
don't buy clear glass.
Really?
Don't
Is
buy the clear glass.
that's just everyday produced, right?
Yeah, that pretty much most of that is not worth anything. And a lot of it is just pressed or molded glass. And I have a piece I want to show you. This is um, this is like crystal, and the way you can tell instead of pressed glass where it's just this, say I have two pieces, one exactly the same. This
Yep.
is the bottom of it. This is a vase. So let's just say these are the exact same.
Yep.
This one and this one looks the same. And the way you can tell if it's press molded compared to is it actually cut glass, put your thumb on it and press it right where the pattern is. You can tell that almost feels like that's going to cut me.
Oh, okay.
So
very
that's
sharp.
how you can tell it's crystal. If it's not, if it, like you want to pull your finger away, it's so sharp, almost feeling like it could cut you. If it doesn't do that, like if you can just press and press, that's just pattern
Oh,
glass.
because it came out of the mold and there's really no sharp edges in a mold.
Exactly.
Okay.
Where if it's cut, it's actually cut. I mean, they actually cut
Right.
the glass.
So
you
that's
can
like
actually,
Waterford crystal, basically.
yes. This here, and then I know this. I bought this here probably 35 years ago, and I kept the sticker on, so I know what it is.
Ah, okay.
It's made
Even
in
though
the
you
US.
said stay away from clear glass, that right there is a very beautiful piece.
Yeah, but I know what it is. I know I could tell, and I bought this, so I knew. But like I said, 35 years ago. But that's one thing I would do, unless it's something where you want to test that, or if it's clear glass and it has the hobnail on it, the little ridges and bumps, something
Yep.
different. But your everyday, and here's a piece of etched glass, and this is clear too. And these, I have a pair of these that they're really not very valuable, but you can, I don't know if you can see
Yeah,
the
the etching.
etched,
Yep.
actually etched on there.
Yep.
Now, I know these are old because I've had them for 40 years. But to go into any thrift and just look at this, I would need.
Right there is a good point because
Mhm.
you already discounted at least 50% of the glass on the shelf.
Yeah, true. Yeah, don't buy clear glass.
So that's good. That's a good point, everybody. When you go look,
Yeah.
just check off all of the clear glass and go for the other stuff, and
Yeah,
you're
here's a
halfway
piece.
there.
I got this from the house clean out I just did. It's clear glass. I have no clue the maker. I'm hoping it's Fenton. I don't know. Here's another thing that looks like it might be hobnail. I don't know if you can tell. That is not hobnail. These edges, these here little point, they're like too pointy and they're not round and bubbly. Hobnail is like round little dots.
Yep.
I don't know if you can see. This is not. This is like pointy little
Okay. Yes.
things. So that is a difference. So I have to research this pattern if I really want to find out who did this, that pattern. And then I'll know. And it looks like it should be pretty common. It could be Westmoreland. I know this is probably, there's some bubbles in it too. I don't know. I'll just have to research it. But yeah, this I just got from that house, and I'm thinking it's old because it came from that house. Everything in that house was old. So
that's another thing I want to go back to because you mentioned that a few times is bubbles. Bubbles would mean age because they wouldn't allow a piece to go out with bubbles today.
Well, that, and plus you know that it's blown glass, so hand blown glass.
Okay.
Instead of in a mold and press, it was actually hand blown, and the bubbles came in from being blown.
Yep.
So you would know it that way. Yeah. I'm trying to think.
So what else do we have? Carnival glass, milk glass, uranium, Vaseline glass, and crystal. What other kinds of Pyrex?
Oh, there's hundreds.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
oh yeah, Fistoria glass, Fiesta ware. Oh, now you're putting me on the spot trying to think of all the different types. Oh yeah, the list goes on and on and on.
Wow.
Yeah. There sometimes you'll see a lot of green glass too when you go to thrift stores. Green glass isn't bad to buy. A lot of that, whenever I see color green, I always associate that with Indiana glass. I don't know why, but I do, because I guess maybe that was their big thing, is what they produced. Indiana glass was green color glass, but there again, it's hard to tell unless you find a book or do research and look at their patterns and look at their colors.
Right. I've seen green and I've seen red a lot too.
Oh,
Red,
really? Red?
red glass. And then Mike just pointed up something. Another one I've heard about. Depression glass.
Glass.
What's depression glass?
Well, depression glass, of course, was back in the Depression when the Depression time era was, and it was a cheaper glass. And because people couldn't afford anything back then, trying to think how you can tell depression glass. It's hard. I don't know a lot about depression glass. I'm going to say a cheap glass depression. This here might be a piece. I got this from that house. I don't know. There again, like I said, I don't know a lot about one thing. I just know a little bit about a lot of stuff. So depression glass.
You've given us all a good lesson here today. That's for sure.
Well, thank you. I don't know if I'm doing a good job, but there again, it's not marked, which is very common. Most glass back, especially in depression, that was never marked.
Now that looks like pottery from the bottom, but
yes, it definitely is pottery with a glaze on it. And depression glass, I think there was pink depression, and that's like a sawed off. If you find, and I don't know a lot about it. I really can't say. I really don't know.
Colored clear looking glass.
Blinkos, yes. See, Myra's naming some different glass. Dunbar, Moser, Ellie Smith. That's another one. Ellie Smith actually did this here too. They did some type of what you want to call swung glass or stretch glass, and that's almost said sling, which is wrong. A lot of people say. I think they call it sling, which is not the right thing to say, but yeah, Myra's right. There's so many Blinko. There's slag glass. I did a video on slag glass. There's sea glass.
Wow.
Yeah, it just goes.
Pieces of Murano, only because we went to the factory.
Oh, now that's good pieces.
I actually ordered pendants for over my my kitchen in the island.
Oh, for the island. Oh, I bet that's pretty.
They're beautiful, but when you go for the amount I paid per piece, I could have bought 6 dozen of almost the same ones at Lowe's.
But it ain't the same, sweetheart.
It's not, because I know
nowhere near the same.
But it is beautiful. They are beautiful pieces. And
now, when I think of a Murano glass, you know what I think of, which I could be wrong, but I think of like the fish, the blown fish that have the color inside on the swirls of the color. That's Murano. And then also aren't they kind of known too for like paperweights, like a paperweight with the thing? Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah,
I have a couple out there that are really nice.
I bet. Yeah.
But, I mean, you know, and you have given us so much information that, I mean, you opened my eyes on a lot of things that I didn't even know about or hear about. So I definitely, next time I go sourcing or whatever and looking with somebody who has glass, I'm definitely going to look. The problem I find down here in Florida, there's so many people that come in that I don't find the real old stuff till I go home sourcing to like Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Maine. You go to
those are some places. Yeah,
then, the houses are from the 1800s. Then you find some really nice stuff.
Yeah, I have a bunch of old bottles that my son actually he works for plumbing and heating company, so he was digging out the side of a mountain to dig out to put in sewer lines, and boy, he dug up a gold mine of old bottles. So
wow,
they're pretty nice. Some of them from the elements too will change color. They'll turn like, it almost looks like carnival glass, very light color carnival glass, because it'll change from the iron and whatever that's in the soil, and sunlight too. Sunlight will change color of glass.
There's a lot of people that'll collect the old medicine bottles too.
Yeah, which I have some. There are so many. He probably had close to 50 bottles. Some have embossed on the bottle of like brewing companies. So they're the beer bottles, and some of them are aqua colored, the aqua, which is nice. He has the ink bottles. I got amber medicine bottles, flask. Oh, the flask he got. Oh my. And some say flask on it. And the ounces, the IV bottles, old IV bottles. Yeah.
Wow. Very nice.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any questions before we end the stream? Yes, Myra, Murano hand blown glass.
Right. Yeah, that's what we were just talking about. Yeah.
Talking to her before. My wife and I went there to the factory when we were in Venice.
When did you go there?
5 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, it was very nice.
Boy, I'd love to go. I bet it's even the island itself. I bet it's beautiful.
It is. It is really, really nice. I had to go. For me, it's the motherland. So, I had to go.
You're required. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to go at least once.
That's right. Yeah.
But anybody else have any questions or anything? Thank you all for coming in.
Jacob, Jacob says? I'm a rock star. Great. That's awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely.
Being an old lady being called a rock star is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, this is you gave everybody, I'm sure, a lot of information.
Yeah, I wish I knew more about depression. I don't know a whole lot off the top of my head. Like, again, it just depends on the research. I know pink depression glass. I've heard that. That's pretty good. So something I should do more research on is depression glass. Fenton. I love Fenton. That's one of my favorite.
Yeah, next time, because every time now I go to these local auctions, there's always glass. There's always an assortment of some kind of glass.
Always.
And I don't know enough about it. And now at least I know a little bit more, maybe to be dangerous. Because some of the glass, I admit, some of it goes for a lot of money. And he mentions one name that I have no clue what it is. And all of a sudden, like I know now Noritake China is way up there. But there again, I wouldn't want to buy it because I wouldn't want to ship it.
Watch my shipping video. I just did a shipping video. Don't ever be afraid to ship glass. It's so easy.
Yeah, but when you're talking a place setting for 8 people, it's got to weigh a ton and a half.
Yeah, I could see where that it would cost a lot because one thing is not all the settings I might not put in the same box.
Yep.
So
I got to look more into it and do some more research, like anything. But you have given a lot of great information. Yeah,
like I say all the time, I don't know everything. I don't know a lot about any of the glass. I just know a little bit about a lot of different glass. So,
well, that's very cool. That is very, very cool. So, what do you have coming up? I know you're on with
with
Victoria 24/7.
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, welcome to YouTube. It's Victoria Adventures in Reselling on YouTube all day, every day. Just kidding.
That's not true. She cut back. She has cut way back.
All day, 5 days a week.
She does every morning show, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. That's her. But she stayed with me Thursday nights. We do Thursday. Let me drop my link. And
definitely.
I think that's it. My YouTube. Yeah, that's my YouTube channel. And Thursdays at 8:00 Eastern Standard Time, her and I get together. We get a guest on and we do a little bit of interview like this here, maybe about 20 minutes worth. Paul's been on our show.
Yeah, I remember one of my questions. Has Paul ever been skinny dipping?
You may or may not be asked that question.
Right.
Among other ones like that. Because after we do a little bit of this kind of interview, we get into the real nitty gritty to get to know these resellers, and we do a game. And the game is, we ask questions and people in the chat have to answer. If you answer the question right, if the guest has really done that or not, and if you answered right, you do win a prize. We send out prizes for free, everybody that wins. So we have a good time. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, a lot of fun.
Harry has a comment or a question. Someone wants to sell me a collection of moon and star glass that they want to sell me. And then where's the follow-up? I guess they haven't given him a price yet. Oh, trying to get an idea what she wants for this. Well over 50 pieces.
Wow.
And I have never heard of moon and star glass.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't. Now, Harry's the one you want to talk to about insulators. He's the one I was saying that he collects insulators. He's got a collection of insulators with the different colored ones, what's more valuable, what's not. He knows a lot about the insulators.
Yeah, because I see them at almost every auction I go to. And you were talking about green and clear. I've seen red. I've seen almost black ones. But there again, I have no idea what I'm looking for. No idea what I should pay for something like that.
I see that Flippin' Flamingos just posted to him about fairy lamps. That's another thing I should have mentioned. For some reason, right now, I don't know if a lot of people even know what a fairy lamp is, but back, I think those are from the 70s, maybe 80s. For some reason, right now, they're being really wanted, and I don't know why.
What is it?
It's a it kind of, I guess, kind of looks like this, but it's colored. Could be, and it's like has a cover here. It's a candle holder, like a little has a base, and you put the thing on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of looks like that, but with it's colored.
Oh wow!
And then it has a bottom that you put that over. That's a fairy, but for some reason, I don't know. A lot of people right now are looking for that too. It's weird. Wow. Goes in waves. People, and I think YouTube has a lot to do with it. Whatever people are talking about a lot or doing videos on,
right?
Then a lot of people go nuts. I got to get it.
There's like 24 of us here in the chat. So we all need to go on YouTube and say, oh, you got to stop buying all this carnival glass and stuff. It's such a bad investment. I lost my shirt on all this Vaseline. And
don't buy it.
Yeah, it's crap. My finger fell off from handling the uranium glass so much. If we all do videos like that, people will stop buying it. And then
you know what will happen then, Paul? Then if you have a piece,
that's right, the market will
it ain't going to be worth nothing.
Right. That's true. We could cause the market collapse.
Yep, that's exactly what will happen. Got to go with the trends. Got to go with what's trending. And right now, yeah, fairy lamps is definitely trending.
Wow. Well, we're at our time. I want to thank you very, very much for coming on.
You're welcome. Thank you.
This was great. This was a lot of great information. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Hope everybody had a good time, learned a little,
Learn a little. Do your research, people. That's all I can tell you. Read your books. Do your research.
Yeah, because there's a lot of information here. And if you missed it, just rewind, go back to the beginning.
And you know where you can find books really, really cheap about glassware?
Goodwill?
Any thrift store, yeah.
Any thrift store, yep.
Go to the book section. There's always, you could, I'm sure, find some books on glassware. They pick them up. They're cheap, and you could learn a lot. And yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, once again, thank you. Learned a lot. Learned a lot about you and how you got started, which was great. So thank you everybody for coming. Tomorrow, thank you. Tomorrow we have the Bearded Picker.
Yay!
If you haven't seen his videos, definitely got to tune in tomorrow. And then of course Wednesday is our Swap Meet Wednesday, where I don't do any selling, but I let you come in and first 4 people actually, because it averages 15 minutes per person to sell 3 items. Come in. You don't have to look at the camera. You can aim the camera at the merchandise.
You don't have to be on it.
Yeah, I will help you. I'll help you. Whatever has to be done, we'll get you through it. Last week, we had a brand new auction person on, sold a couple items, which was great. And she just used her iPad. So
hey, there you go.
Yep, that's every Wednesday we do that at 4 o'clock. So with that, thank you, Nana. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for coming in, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.